What if I told you that the way you start your morning is silently controlling your entire life? In the next few minutes, you're going to discover a powerful blueprint that can reset your brain's dopamine, sharpen your focus, and give you a level of control most people never experience. This isn't another feel good routine. This is a system, a method, and if you follow it correctly, you'll notice the difference within days. More clarity, more discipline, more energy. And most importantly, freedom from distractions that are quietly draining your potential. Right now, most people wake up and immediately lose. They grab their phone, they scroll. Notifications, messages, short videos, endless stimulation. Within minutes, your brain is flooded with dopamine spikes. It feels good, temporarily. But here's the problem. Your brain adapts, and when it adapts, everything else in your day feels boring. Work feels harder. Studying feels exhausting. Even simple tasks feel like a burden. That's not laziness. That's a hijacked dopamine system. Your brain is designed to reward effort, not instant gratification. But modern habits have flipped that system upside down. Instead of earning dopamine through meaningful action, you're consuming it passively. And the cost, your focus, your motivation, your consistency. So today, we begin the reset. The morning is the most powerful window to take back control. Why? Because your brain is in a highly plastic state when you wake up. It's impressionable. It's ready to be programmed. And whatever you do in the first 60 minutes sets the tone for everything that follows. This blueprint isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things in the right order. The first principle is simple, but extremely difficult for most people. Protect your brain from artificial dopamine the moment you wake up. No phone, no social media, no instant stimulation. When you wake up, your mind is quiet. That silence is powerful. Don't destroy it, because the moment you introduce high stimulation input, your baseline shifts. And once that baseline shifts, normal life feels dull. Instead, we're going to train your brain to find satisfaction in effort again. And it starts the second your eyes open. You don't reach for your phone. You don't check messages. You sit up, take a deep breath, and become aware. This moment, this simple act, is the first step of rewiring your brain. Because discipline isn't built in big moments. It's built in these small decisions that nobody sees. And this is just the beginning. Now that you've protected your mind from instant dopamine, we move into the second phase, the activation phase. This is where most people make a critical mistake. They try to wake up their body with stimulation, coffee, sugar, noise. But what your brain actually needs is natural activation, something that tells your system it's time to perform. The most powerful tool for this is light. Within the first 10 to 15 minutes of waking, you need exposure to natural light. Step outside if you can. Let the sunlight hit your eyes. This isn't about brightness, it's about signaling your brain. This simple act regulates your circadian rhythm, stabilizes your dopamine baseline, and increases alertness without draining your energy later in the day. If you skip this, your brain stays in a fog, your focus weakens, and you start chasing stimulation just to feel normal. After light, we move the body. Not a full workout, not exhaustion, just movement. 5 to 10 minutes is enough. Stretching, a short walk, light mobility. The goal is to wake up your nervous system, not overwhelm it. When you move your body early, you send a message to your brain that action comes before comfort, and that message changes everything. Because here's the truth. Your brain listens to what you do, not what you say. If your first actions are passive, your entire day becomes reactive. But if your first actions are intentional, your brain shifts into control mode. Now we introduce something most people avoid, stillness. After movement, sit down. No distractions, no music, no phone, just you and your thoughts for a few minutes. This might feel uncomfortable at first. That's a sign your brain is used to constant stimulation. Stay with it. This is where the reset deepens. When you allow your mind to be still, your dopamine system begins to normalize. You stop craving constant input. You begin to think clearly again. Ideas come back. Focus sharpens. You don't need hours of meditation. Even 3 to 5 minutes of intentional stillness can begin rewiring your brain. Now we add one more layer, hydration. Your brain wakes up dehydrated, and even mild dehydration can reduce focus, memory, and energy. So before coffee, before anything else, drink water, slowly, intentionally. This is not just physical, it's psychological. You are stacking small wins. And each win tells your brain, I'm in control. No chaos, no rushing, no reaction, just a calm, deliberate start. And when you combine light, movement, stillness, and hydration, something powerful happens. You shift from a state of consumption to a state of creation. Most people never reach this state. They stay trapped in reaction mode all day. But you're building something different, a system where your brain works for you, not against you. And we're not done yet. Now we enter the most important phase of this entire blueprint, the focus ignition phase. This is where your dopamine reset transforms into real productivity. Because resetting your brain means nothing if you don't channel that clarity into meaningful action. At this point, your mind is calm, your system is activated, and your dopamine levels are stable. This is the perfect moment to do the work that actually matters. But here's where most people fail. They don't decide what matters. They start their day reacting to whatever appears first. Messages, emails, notifications, small, low-value tasks that feel productive but lead nowhere. And before they realize it, their peak mental energy is gone. So we change the rule. Before your day begins, you define one high-value task, just one, something that requires focus, something that moves your life forward. It could be studying, building a skill, working on a project, or solving a problem you've been avoiding. This becomes your first mission of the day. And here's the key. You start it immediately after your morning reset. No delay, no hesitation, because your brain is at its strongest right now. You don't wait for motivation. You use the state you've created. Now, when you begin this task, something interesting happens. At first, it feels difficult. There's resistance. Your brain will try to pull you back to easy dopamine, distractions, comfort, anything that requires less effort. This is normal. But if you stay with the task, if you push through those first 5 to 10 minutes, your brain begins to shift. Dopamine starts to rise, not from consumption, but from effort. And this is the turning point. You are teaching your brain that focus is rewarding, that effort feels good, that discipline creates satisfaction. This is how you rebuild your dopamine system the right way. Now, to strengthen this process, you work in a distraction-free environment. No phone nearby, no unnecessary tabs, no interruptions. You create a space where your only option is to focus. Because focus is not about willpower, it's about environment. If distractions are present, your brain will take them. If they're removed, your brain adapts. Work in blocks of 25 to 45 minutes, then take a short break. Step away, breathe, reset, and return again. This rhythm keeps your mind sharp without burning it out. And over time, something powerful happens. Your tolerance for deep work increases. What once felt hard becomes normal. What once required effort becomes automatic. And now, instead of chasing dopamine, you are generating it through progress. This is the shift most people never experience. They stay addicted to quick rewards, never realizing that the real reward comes from mastery, from growth, from doing the hard things consistently. But you're building that system, step by step. And once this phase is locked in, your entire day begins to change. Now we move into the stabilization phase, the part of your morning that determines whether your focus lasts or fades. Because starting strong is one thing. Maintaining that clarity throughout the day is where real control is built. Most people destroy their momentum right here. After doing one good block of work, they reward themselves the wrong way. They grab their phone, they scroll, they flood their brain with fast dopamine again, and just like that, the reset you built begins to collapse. So we replace that habit with a smarter system. Your breaks are not for stimulation, they are for recovery. When you step away from your work, you do something that keeps your dopamine stable. You walk, you stretch, you breathe, you look outside, you let your brain rest without overwhelming it. This is how you protect the progress you've already made. Because every time you avoid unnecessary stimulation, you strengthen your control. Now let's talk about food, another silent factor that affects your focus more than you realize. Right after waking up, your body doesn't need high-sugar meals. That leads to a spike, followed by a crash. And when that crash hits, your brain starts craving quick dopamine again. Instead, keep your first meal light and balanced. Focus on protein, healthy fats, and steady energy. This stabilizes your blood sugar and keeps your mind sharp. You don't feel sluggish. You don't feel distracted. You stay in control. Now combine this with something even more powerful, intentional awareness. As your day begins to open up, distractions will try to enter. Messages, calls, random tasks, people pulling your attention in different directions. This is where you decide who's in control, you or your environment. You don't say yes to everything. You protect your focus like it matters, because it does. Every time you say no to a distraction, you reinforce discipline. Every time you stay with your task, you deepen your ability to concentrate. And this isn't just about productivity, it's about identity. You are becoming someone who finishes what they start. Now, here's something most people ignore. Your energy is not unlimited. So instead of pushing nonstop, you manage it. After your deep work sessions, take a slightly longer reset. Step away completely. Give your mind space to recover. This prevents burnout and keeps your performance consistent, because consistency beats intensity every time. And when you structure your day like this, focused work, clean breaks, stable nutrition, and controlled input, you create a system that supports your brain instead of fighting it. This is how you maintain the dopamine reset beyond the morning. This is how you turn a simple routine into a lifestyle. And once this becomes your normal, everything starts to feel different. Now we arrive at the final phase, the integration phase. This is where everything you've built becomes permanent, because a routine only works if it lasts. And what most people don't understand is this: consistency doesn't come from motivation, it comes from identity. By now, you've seen what happens when you take control of your morning. Your mind feels clearer, your focus is stronger, you're not constantly pulled toward distractions. But here's the challenge: can you repeat it? Because the real transformation isn't in doing this once, it's in doing it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day after that. So we simplify the system. You don't try to be perfect, you aim to be consistent. Even if your morning isn't ideal, you still protect the core principles. No instant dopamine when you wake up. Light exposure, movement, stillness. One focused task, that's your foundation. That's non-negotiable. Everything else is flexible. And this is where most people finally break free, when they stop overcomplicating and start committing. Now let's address something important. There will be days when you fail, days when you wake up and grab your phone, days when you feel lazy, distracted, unfocused. That doesn't mean the system doesn't work. It means you're human. The difference is what you do next. You don't quit. You don't restart next week. You correct immediately. You come back to the blueprint the same day. Because one bad morning doesn't define you, but giving up does. And every time you return, you strengthen the habit. This is how discipline is built, not through perfection, but through recovery. Now imagine this. You follow this routine for 7 days. You start noticing small changes. More control, less distraction. Then 14 days. Your focus deepens, your energy stabilizes. Then 30 days, and now it's part of who you are. You don't force it anymore. You live it. And that's when the real reward shows up. You start finishing things you once avoided. You start thinking clearly without effort. You feel calm, not overwhelmed, focused, not scattered. Because your brain is no longer overloaded with artificial stimulation. It's balanced. It's working the way it was designed to work. And this is the truth most people never realize. Success doesn't start with big actions. It starts with controlled mornings. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need a system. And now you have one. So tomorrow morning, when your eyes open, remember this. You're not just waking up. You're taking control.